All right, well, then it is my pleasure to welcome all of you to Rogue World 2024. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm William DeRocco. I'm the person who's been emailing you. I'm the chair of the SOC for this workshop. And I really just want to start by saying thank you to all of you who've taken the time out of your busy lives to come to Osaka to talk about this topic, because I think it is a really interesting topic that is not particularly well studied right now. There's only so many of us. But luckily, this is one audience where I don't really have to motivate why free-floating planets are interesting. I think everybody here is excited about them, and I'm really hoping this will sort of enable people to start chatting about them and painting a global picture of where we're all at in terms of observation and theory. So, like I said, I don't really need to provide a lot of motivation right now, but I think that one of the reasons this is a great time to be thinking about this is the fact that free-floating planets are sort of an emerging subfield of planetary science right now. We've historically been kind of observationally deprived when it comes to free-floating planet observations, but recently we've really started to get a lot of indications that there could be a very large population of these things. And we're getting information across a wide range of masses from different techniques. And what's nice about this is now that we actually start to get this sample, we can start to ask questions about fundamentally what they tell us about planet formation, what their origin scenarios are, etc. And things are only going to get more exciting soon. We have the launch of various space-based surveys that are going to be taking in a lot more data, observing a lot more free-floating planets. And so now once you start to talk about hundreds, several hundreds, etc., you can start to do some really interesting science, presumably, with them. And I think that what science we can do is one of the things that I would like to have come out of this workshop. So now really is the time to start connecting theorists who've done a lot of work on planet formation, which is still a very actively developing field, and observers who spent a lot of time looking for these things and will continue to look for these things, to sort of figure out how to leverage both sides of that equation to really maximize the science return from this population. So yeah, the goals of the workshop here. I mean, as you saw from the website, it's called Rogue Worlds 2024, Uniting Theory and Observation. So that is one of the primary goals that I have for this, which is really to encourage new collaborations between different people, be it on the observer side or the theory side, but to start thinking about new things that we can do with this sort of burgeoning field and upcoming data that we will have. Additionally, I want to start sort of building a community of people who are at least all aware that the other people are working on free-floating planets, because historically, I think it's been a little bit disparate and separate. And so now you can all look around the room and say, okay, I met that person, I know what they're working on, et cetera, et cetera. And finally, I kind of just want this to bring everybody up to speed on the current landscape of both FFP theory and observation. So bring people up to speed on what sort of the most recent observations are, where they are moving forward, bring people up to speed on what we think we understand about planet formation so far and system evolution. And I think that way, all of the plenaries that are going to be delivered are hopefully at a fairly intro level, such that everybody is going to learn at least something pretty fundamental about a topic they probably don't know that much about. So with that, I just want to shout out the organizing committees here. So there's a scientific organizing committee, which I chaired, but Scott Gowdy, Dave Bennett, Shigeru Ida, Sam Haddon, and Gavin Coleman all contributed as well, which was really useful. On the local organizing committee side, Naoki Koshimoto here was the chair. Daisuke Suzuki and Takahiro Sumi were also on it and very instrumental in getting this set up. I do want to have a particular shout out for Naoki here, who has actually organized the logistics of all of this happening and us being in a room and having name tags and drinks and coffee. So thank you very much for that. I want to remind you all that there is a code of conduct for this. You can find it on the website. If at any point anyone here feels like the code of conduct is being violated, please feel free to reach out to me or another member of the organizing committee, and we will address those concerns. For the schedule, I would say always check the website for the most up-to-date schedule. We'll try to post it on Slack and stuff too. But due to some weirdness with the website, it uploads a different file each time. So you just really want to be checking there. I don't think it's going to change significantly, except for one talk flip that's happening. But yeah, I would rely on the website for the most up-to-date information on anything. Additionally, I would really recommend that you join the Slack. A lot of communication will be done over Slack. So if you have not already done that, please do so. Finally, the schedule right now is 3 days of talks, which are about 9:30 to 4:30 or so. And then we have a room reserved, a floor below this, on Saturday, just for open collaboration. And so I think that if there is anyone who wants to sort of come up with sort of a topical working group or something just worth discussing, or a project that they just want to try to bang out in a few hours and see if it works, that would be a great time for that. And you should either let me know or just post about it in Slack. And I would love to see some people spin up something interesting and worth at least poking at for a few hours on Saturday. Finally, what I will say is that the talks will be recorded. They're not going to be live streamed. They will be recorded, and we're planning on uploading them to the Rogue World 2024 YouTube afterwards, because there were a lot of people who unfortunately couldn't make it, but are really interested in the topic and want to see what's being discussed. If you are not comfortable with it being recorded, just let us know. That's totally fine. Otherwise, it will appear on YouTube. On the note of presentations, if you were a submitted speaker, it's going to be 15 minutes plus 5 minutes for questions. If you're one of the invited speakers, it's 25 plus 5. Please do try to keep on time. There's a big aggressive clock here, which should be reminding you. We have chairs for each session who will also be reminding you. And finally, make sure you upload your slides to the Google Drive before your session, because everything is going to be run out of this laptop. It supports PowerPoint, even though it's a Mac. It supports PDF. Just please make sure you upload it to the Google Drive. Finally, important logistics in terms of like food and essentials surviving around here. So a question that I always have. So we have at least one coffee break per day, but also there's just a lot of coffee and drinks back here. So you should at least stay caffeinated and hydrated. We have a pretty long lunch break. I think it's like an hour and 50 minutes each day, which means that you should have plenty of time to like go out to a restaurant and have some food. It'll be a little bit crowded because it's the sort of work time, lunch time thing. But you should have some time to go explore and, chat with people and try some new things, which would be great. If you are not interested in doing that, there is like a cafe on the first floor. You could easily just post up at the cafe, get some food there, work, or whatever you want to do. Additionally, what I will say is that for most things that you need in terms of snacks, or if you need toothpaste or deodorant or something like that, the convenience stores here are really, really incredible. So if you see a Lawson, a 7-Eleven, or a Family Mart, they're a good place to go, especially if you really want like a working lunch or something. They have plenty of sort of microwavable nice soups or like onigiri that you can get just to sort of tide you over. Finally, on the opposite side of the spectrum from convenience stores, we have a really nice banquet on Friday night, which I'm excited about. That's going to be on the 9th floor of this building, so still in the same building. And it'll be like a sort of 2-hour buffet thing that's put on by the Associated Hotel, the Riga Royal. And so I think that should just about cover all of the logistics here. I really want to thank you all again for taking the time to come out here. It's already awesome to see all your faces and see a bunch of people whom I've met before, but now I have in the same room with me. And so, yeah, with that, I think that it's probably time to kick off the talks.